Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, so today we're going to make a Flippy Flappy journaling spot that can get tucked into a pocket. You could also, if you didn't want to do that, glue it down to a page and just have journaling spots here, here, and here. And this came about because I was playing around on my desk and I've got all of these offcuts from envelopes, from my junk mail envelopes from other projects where I was shortening it, that I figured I could find some use for them. And so I was playing around and I was like, well, what if I put a journaling card on there? I'm like, ooh, then that could flip up and I need to put something interesting underneath it. So this is what we're doing, basically. So to start with, I'm going to pull out, this is, I don't remember if this is a printable by Boutique or Fabi Art Studio. I'll double check and leave it down below. And these two are from Liana Scraps. So we're going to have a top piece, and let's see, let's find, what's our longest little envelope scrap? Let's use this one. And so what we're going to end up doing is gluing this on to our little flap as our starting point. I'm going to ink all around the edges, and I'm going to use Victorian Velvet. Just to hide any white from me not cutting this out perfectly. You don't have to ink edges, that's completely up to you. And actually, I rounded the corners and I think I want to do that again. So let's do that. And this one, that does not look very straight along the bottom. Let me straighten that bottom up a little bit. I am going to heavily ink these edges because we've got so much white going on. And what I may come in and do is grab some antique linen and brush around just because, ooh, too much white showing. Oh, forgot to round my corners. And on this one, I'm going to go with a smaller round because it's such a smaller piece. And you could use anything for this. As you saw with the first one I created, this piece was longer than this piece, and they were both longer than the top piece. For this one, I've got my top piece, and this piece will stick out just a little bit, but this one won't stick out at all. It'll be fully covered because it's shorter. And actually, I think what I may do is have the shorter one on top, the longer one on the bottom. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to do for that. So to assemble, we're going to start by gluing our envelope cutoff piece. Now, if you don't have envelope cutoffs like I do, just take a piece of paper that's as long as your top piece and do it, I'd say, 1.5 inches to 2 inches wide, fold it in half, and voila, you've got a makeshift envelope flappy piece. So I'm just going to glue it on. And because this one's not as long as the piece I'm doing, I'm just kind of centering it. So that goes like that. Now, I think on this one the hinge went all the way across, like I had a longer hinge piece. So it doesn't quite go all the way across, but what we're going to do now is take some coffee dyed paper and attach it to this piece, like so. And so I'm just going to add glue here. And then I'm just going to take scissors and trim it off. Probably should have waited to do my corner rounding until after I attached this so that I could cut it all at once, but too late now. And I can just take my scissors and follow around, because my corner rounder is not going to like this super thin craft paper that I'm using to cover. So there we go, that side's covered. Now, I'm trying to remember how I did the next part. And we're just going to use another piece of envelope and attach our top floppy piece to that. So let's go ahead and do that. This is what happens when I play around, make something up, and then don't touch it for several days, and then decide, let's go back and film, and don't really remember exactly what I did. And some of the things I did, I think probably could use tweaking. All right, and again, we're gonna trim this off. Flip this over and cover it. Sweet, this piece we cut off will cover it. And I'm gonna do it without the little hole on there. So we're just gonna add glue to this. Trim off our excess. This piece is gonna end up going here. Now, before I do that, hold on a sec. Let me have a bit of a think here. Okay, so I'm gonna attach this piece on to here. And then we're gonna just trim it down so that it goes all the way across so that there's plenty of journaling space. All right, so I'm gonna trim this down, and my piece measures 4 5/8. So we're just gonna line this up. We can make adjustments as needed. That looks to be about right. And then I'm gonna trim that off. Look ahead and use the paper trimmer for that so we can keep it straight. Now, I'm gonna glue this guy down so that our piece of paper and our other bit can cover up the flap. But I'm noticing you can see along here. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of washi before I glue either piece down to cover that up. I think I'm gonna use this one. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna use along here. And I'm just gonna go all the way to the end. Just gonna trim that off. And I'm gonna come back and add glue because this washi is not super sticky. I ordered it in a pack of a bunch of washis from Amazon. And then I'm gonna just trim off the excess washi. Actually, what I can do is okay, so I'm realizing I did mix one thing up. I was supposed to sandwich this piece in between so that we'd have the back covered because, yeah, so that we wouldn't have this showing on the back since I'm planning on doing this as a piece in a pocket. Maybe this one I'll do as on a page. The other one, I was looking at my stash trying to come up with more stuff to put into pockets because I've got all the pockets in the bee journal already in the bee journal. All right, so I'm just gonna reinforce our fold again. And this piece is gonna get attached here. So let's go ahead and glue that piece in place. And I've got envelope bits coming up, so I'm gonna glue those down. Make sure you're staying on this side of our fold so our fold will still work properly. Grab some paper towel and clean that up real quick. Don't worry, we will cover this up. Or alternatively, I'll decide that this is gonna go on a page instead of in a pocket. And then this piece can go on like so. And it's gonna go all the way across here. So we got that, and the idea was this would flip up and you'd have all this as writing space. And yeah, I now have this big chunk here at the top. That one is not quite wide enough. But what I think I'm gonna do is do this. And for this, I think I'll use some glue stick to add some glue to the back of the washi. And I'm just gonna run the washi on here. I'm gonna use my foam folder to get it rubbed down good. I'm gonna trim that bed off. Because what I'm gonna do is grab another washi. I think this one, is this gonna be wide enough? I don't know that that's gonna be wide enough. Not to fold over. Okay. This one should be wide enough to fold over. So what we're gonna do is add a second strip of washi, and mostly because the top is a little, I don't know, not as clean and neat as I would like. So what we're gonna do is put some glue on this side, stick our washi tape down, and then flip it over onto this side. So let's trim this bit off. Fold it over, so now the top edge is nice and neat. My washi is not very straight, but that's okay. I'm not too bothered by that. So there we go. It will flip up. This piece will flip up, and this piece will leave flat down. So let me round the corner on this. It did not like that at all. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper to go with it. If you find you're having trouble punching a thinner paper, if you grab something else to go with it and double up your layers, you might be able to then get it punched through. Because punches don't like really thin paper. And I'm just going to use my scissors to re-round this corner. All right, so we've got that, that, and that. And let's do a little bit of decorating on the bottom piece just to add a little bit more interest. And I'm going to do some washi stickers on it, I think. I've got, these are the postage stamp washi by 49 in Market, and it's vintage artistry Tranquility, and I think this will go nicely color-wise. Oh, I think that one would be perfect. Just to add a little bit of interest to this back page. And actually, before I do that, what I want to do is I'm gonna come in and ink over here. Oh, and add a little bit more blue since it's popping up a little bit. Make sure that's glued down. Then I think I'm going to add that on there, just to add a little bit of interest there. And then on the front, let's see, do we want to, let's grab this other washi. Now, they're perforated, it should tear. I don't have much luck tearing these, so I'm just going to come in with scissors and cut. Then I think I want a little label and a number. Number's way too light, so we're gonna grab some antique linen and ink that. A vintage photo the edges. And I'm gonna see if I can peel up this washi postage stamp, because realize I want this underneath it, I think. Let's see, is it gonna come up? It is. Let's ink these edges and figure out our placement. And I think I'm going to call that done. And let's do one more, and I'll show you a way to avoid having, so that you can have more journaling on the back. I'll show you that method. Okay, so we're gonna do another one, and I'm gonna try and remember to do the sandwiching this time instead of what we did on the last one. So I'm gonna take this piece and again apply it to one of my junk mail envelope scraps. Then we are gonna cover the back with some coffee dyed paper. I'm gonna use my paper trimmer to trim it off so that we can hopefully get a nice, neat, straight cut at the bottom there. And this time I remembered to attach the paper before rounding corners. Yay! So I'm gonna go ahead and round the corners. Let's ink and edges with some scorched timber. Probably should have gone a little lighter. Oh well, too late now. Then I've grabbed these two, which are Liana Scrap's printables. And on this one, the back page is just a hair longer than the front one. That one's gonna go there. And what we're gonna do this time is I'm gonna attach this to another flap piece. Muck that up a bit. All right, I'm gonna grab my chomper, or guillotine trimmer, and just clean that up. That gets attached here, like so. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, what I'm gonna do first is I am gonna take a dauber and some fossilized amber and ink along here, which will hide any white that might end up showing. Do that. All right, now we're gonna attach our first flappy piece, and it's gonna go here. So let's go ahead and lay it down like so. This piece is gonna fold over it. And so we're just going to add glue. Fold over. So that will flap up like that. Now we're going to add stress ink along here. And we should have covered this with paper before we attached it in because it'd be easier, but kind of too late now. Just trying to figure out if there is a way for me to be able to do this using this one sheet of paper. That'll work. All right, I'm gonna trim at that line. I was just marking how big of a piece I needed to go fully across. So this piece we'll go fully across and we'll attach this to it on this side. And then there's enough left to cover the back of that. So that's what we're gonna do now, is trim that down. No, let's not do that. Let's try and remember to do it the other way this time. So we're gonna go ahead and glue this on. And I created this paper with, I don't know, something from some kind of packaging that I just basically stamped with coffee onto the paper. So that's how I created this coffee dyed paper. And I know I keep switching between my big trimmer and this trimmer. It's mostly because this trimmer's so small, there's only certain things I can trim with it. And so, but it's convenient because it actually fits on the desk and on the screen when I'm filming. All right, this is where it's gonna be a little tricky because, yeah, okay, we're gonna, I'm angling it off screen probably. Wait, where are my bigger scissors? Let's use the bigger scissors. Because I'm trying to get enough light through that I can see. Because, yeah, this, I definitely should have covered it before attaching this down, because it would have been so much easier to trim that off. It's close, not perfect, and we're gonna hide it with some ink. Go ahead and scorch timber the edges. Round our corners first, because otherwise we're just gonna have to redo them. So there we go. Now this time around, what we're gonna do is we're going to attach this piece up here. So let's add some glue to close that envelope bits up, and glue here. And attach this piece down. Why not use the lines on my mat to help me line this up? That would make sense. That's just craziness. All right. Then we will add our piece of paper to the back like so. And this is how I did the first one. So I'm just straightening up all of those edges. And so, yeah, we've got stuff showing over here. Now we can, on the first one, I ended up covering that with washi tape that I apparently put down before I put this piece on. But we could also cover it with some of the coffee dyed paper and then decorate, which I think is what I'm gonna do. Just gonna mark the paper where I need to trim off. Cover that up with that piece like so. All right, let's round our bottom corners and do a little bit of decorating. So I pulled out a couple things to move along the decorating process. This has actually been sitting on my desk for I don't know how long. I think possibly since the fall, because I'm pretty sure it's from the a fall Junk Journal Studio kit. So we're going to add that. There. This is too white, so let's go ahead and antique linen it. Scorched timber the edges so it stands out. That can go like so. This faux stamp is from my Porch Prints. That for this page, I just grabbed a stamped bit and I'm gonna trim it up to 1, try and get it a little straighter, and 2, cut away some excess. And again, antique photo or antique linen. So it's case file, roses. And my dog's groaning in the background. And then my Porch Prints, Junk Journal Studio, and this is a laser cut embellishment by 49 and Market that's been sitting on the edge of my desk waiting for me to loose. So I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and use it before it ends up falling on the floor and getting lost. So there we go. We made 2 little flippy flappy journaling spots. So on our B1, it flips up like so and flips up like so. And so we did a little bit of decorating and plenty of journaling spots, and then it can flip up like so. So this can get tucked into a pocket, or you can glue it down on a page and just have the 2 flip ups. You of course could add more flips to these. And then our sewing journal themed one, we got it flips up like so, and again, like so, which we had to cover because I assembled it not the same way as I did this one, so that the back of the envelope cutoff bit would be covered. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.